The matrimonial section of Indian newspapers, with limited space, poor grammar, irrational demands, has cracked many of us up occasionally. No matter how a guy looks and what his salary is or what his thoughts about life and education are, everyone seems to be looking for a slim, fair and a homely girl, and this is repulsive. These advertisements are symptomatic of what we see around us in the news every day and in our lives. Despite constitutional provisions aimed at eliminating caste discrimination, matrimonial ads often state preferences for specific castes, subcastes and communities, perpetuating divisiveness in society. The line is very thin between an OLX ad and the Indian matrimonial ad in a newspaper. Now, despite the advancements in regulating advertisements in various sectors, unfortunately, the matrimonial section still remains a glaring blind spot. There is something deeply worrying about the matrimonial sections of Indian newspapers. The intention of matrimonial advertisements have changed from finding a better half to selling a commodity. The line is very thin between an OLX ad and the Indian matrimonial ad in a newspaper. Now, the newspaper reading, English speaking and seemingly educated urban Indians and NRIs would still choose brides and grooms on the basis of caste, creed and even skin color, and this is repulsive. These advertisements are symptomatic of what we see around us in the news every day and in our lives. These matrimonials explicitly reveal the prejudices many of us wear on our sleeves or nurture deep within our homes. The matrimonial section of Indian newspapers, with limited space, poor grammar, irrational demands, has cracked many of us up occasionally. Fair, non-feminist, slim, homely, innocent, etc. etc. No matter how a guy looks and what his salary is or what his thoughts about life and education are, everyone seems to be looking for a slim, fair and a homely girl. Despite the advancements in regulating advertisements across various sectors, the matrimonial section remains a glaring blind spot. These advertisements, often appearing in the classifieds sections of leading newspapers and online platforms, continue to reflect the deep-rooted sexism and patriarchal values that we harbor. Many matrimonial advertisements openly prioritize caste and religious affiliations, reinforcing rigid societal hierarchies. Despite constitutional provisions aimed at eliminating caste discrimination, matrimonial ads often state preferences for specific castes, subcastes and communities, perpetuating divisiveness in society. The emphasis on skin color, especially for women, is a common and disturbing trend in matrimonial advertisements. Phrases like fair-skinned or wheatish complexion are frequently mentioned, underscoring the deep-seated colorism that still exists in Indian society. This preference for a lighter skin tone perpetuates harmful beauty standards and reinforces the notion that a woman's worth is tied to her appearance. The gender bias in matrimonial ads is unmistakable. Men are often described in terms of their professional achievements, financial status and educational background, whilst women are reduced to physical attributes, domestic skills and their ability to adjust in a family setting. Ads seek homely, beautiful or virtuous brides and are common, reflecting the patriarchal expectations of women being primarily caregivers subordinate to their male counterparts. Matrimonial ads often reflect society's pressure on women to marry young and have children early. Advertisements seeking brides of a certain age group, typically younger than 30, are prevalent even if the groom is much older. This reinforces the stereotype that a woman's value diminishes with age, particularly in relation to her reproductive abilities. Whilst the Dowry Prohibition Act bans the practice of dowry, some matrimonial ads subtly allude to dowry expectations by emphasizing the financial status or family wealth of the bride's family. This coded language highlights the persistence of dowry demands in many communities across the country despite its illegality. India has made significant strides in regulating advertisements across various sectors such as tobacco, alcohol, prenatal gender determination, pharmaceuticals, misleading promotions, etc. These regulations are primarily rooted in protecting public health, promoting ethical behavior, and ensuring that consumers are not misled. However, an area that remains largely unchecked is the matrimonial section in newspapers and online platforms, which continue to perpetuate outdated gender norms, sexism, and patriarchal ideas. The Cable Television Networks Act of 1995, and in particular Section 6 of that Act, mandates everyone to transmit or retransmit through a cable service only those advertisements that conform with the advertisement code which is provided in Rule 7 of the Cable Television Network Rules of 1994. The advertisement code provides that advertisements carried in any cable service should conform with the laws of the country and not offend the subscriber's morality, decency, or religious sentiments. The advertisement code also provides a list of qualities which advertisements carried in cable services should not possess, such as degrading race, caste, color, creed, or nationality, or tending to incite people to crime, or causing disorder, or breaching any law, exploiting the national emblem, for example, or exploiting a national leader's image or a state dignitary, projecting a derogatory image of women, exploiting social evils like dowry and child marriage, directly or indirectly promoting the production or consumption of cigarettes, tobacco products, alcohol, infant milk substitutes, feeding bottles, infant food, etc., are all prohibited. Take tobacco for example. Advertising related to tobacco and alcohol is strictly regulated under the laws. For example, the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act, or COTPA as it is generally called, and the state level restrictions on alcohol promotions. Tobacco advertisements are prohibited on television, radio, and public spaces. Similarly, alcohol advertising is banned, although surrogate advertising often finds loopholes by promoting other products under similar brand names. Another area is prenatal gender determination. The Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act of 1994 bans advertisements relating to sex determination. This regulation is crucial in combating the societal preference for male children over females and addressing the skewed gender ratios in our country. Advertisements that promote prenatal gender determinations are illegal with stringent penalties for violators. The Drugs and Magic Remedies Objectionable Advertisements Act of 1954 prohibits misleading advertisements that promote cures for serious diseases like cancer or even diabetes or AIDS. Additionally, the Central Drug Standards Control Organization, that is the CDSCO, monitors the promotion of pharmaceutical products, ensuring that advertisements meet ethical standards and do not exploit vulnerable consumers. The Consumer Protection Act includes provisions regulating misleading advertisements across sectors. The Advertising Standards Council of India, or ASCI, a self-regulatory body, plays a crucial role in the monitoring of advertisements and taking action against those that mislead or deceive consumers. The body issues guidelines and codes for ethical advertising practices and has in the past taken action against exaggerated claims in sectors such as real estate, health supplements, and even education. Look at professional standards. Physicians under the Indian Medical Council Professional Conduct, Etiquette and Ethics Regulations, and lawyers, for example, under the Bar Council of India rules formulated under the Advocates Act, are specifically prohibited from soliciting work or advertising their services in any manner whatsoever. Now, despite the advancements in regulating advertisements in various sectors, unfortunately, the matrimonial section still remains a glaring blind spot. These ads, often appearing in classified sections of leading newspapers and online platforms, continue to reflect the deep-rooted sexism and patriarchal values. Whilst the ASCI regulates misleading and harmful advertisements in other sectors, there is no specific regulatory body overseeing matrimonial ads. The lack of guidelines or even a governing authority or structure allows the perpetuation of discriminatory language and content. Moreover, many people do not even perceive these advertisements as problematic as they mirror, unfortunately, the entrenched societal expectations.